Hey y'all, it's Nikki, Kim, and Ashley with Realtors Who Drink, and today we're here with Zach.
Woo!
Hey.
So we're going to be talking to you about all the things real estate while we're drinking some wine, and we are drinking some Cabernet, and
You don't know what bottle we're on.
we're on bottle 3.
I think
But
so.
my favorite so far has been the Wolf in Sheep's Clothing.
Mhm.
Is that right?
That's the best one.
Yes,
It's
it was
a
good.
one.
It was
It's
a good one.
I recommend. Huh?
Whatever.
No, it's all good. Keep going.
Yeah, let's just keep going. So we're here in December of 2024. It's been an odd year for real estate.
It's been different.
It's been a good year, but it's been odd. And I think that realtors who don't do the things the way we do things or the way that we have been taught things probably aren't as excited about this December as we are, right?
Yeah.
I mean, would that be a fair assessment?
I think so. Yeah.
Because we've had a great year.
Mm-hmm.
But December has been a little bit slow, waiting for the next year to roll around. And you know what? That's okay. Because one thing I will say is we don't ever take a step back and enjoy December.
No.
And I'm so happy to, especially with you in your brand new house.
Yes. I'm enjoying
Beautiful.
it.
I know. And you get to decorate it and do the things that you probably wouldn't do in a normal December. So we like to normally end our year at 20 to 25% higher than we were the year before. That's kind of always been our goal, whether we were a team or whether we were a company. We definitely exceeded that this year.
Yeah. And we did that in October. We were 25%
higher than we were in 2023.
Yeah.
And that was at the end of October.
Yeah. Yeah. So
which is awesome.
So does that mean we could just enjoy December a little
bit? It does. And it's still but it's still very hard for us as overachievers to take a break.
I know.
You know.
I mean, it really has all been still the same.
I know. So this year this month, and normally in January or the end of December, we have a reflection where we kind of sit back and set goals for the next year. And that's when we kind of had come up with our 20 to 25%. So Zach, what does your end of a normal realtor year look like as far as what you look for toward the next year?
I'd say, 2024 has been interesting. It has been, we've had to really double down and work so much harder than we typically would just to get the results that we want. I mean, everyone has a different definition of success. Me personally, I'm happy with the way this year came out. I mean, I had a crazy move at the beginning of the year. I came to you guys and the business just took off. So looking into 2024, I've done a lot of different activities this year. Like I've been holding open houses. I've been sending out mailers. I've been doing a lot of things just to try to drum up business, as any realtor is in the industry currently. So I've learned some different ways to lead generate this year, and just by doing some odd off of the wall kind of things, I mean, I'm happy to say that my first quarter I have 6 closings lined up.
Yeah.
And awesome. And I have 2 new listings hit in the market. So I've learned in 2024, you've got to work harder, but you've got to branch out and expand your horizon. Not just one thing is going to set you up.
Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kim.
I'll also say that it's some of the old school stuff you have to go back and do.
Yeah.
Back to the books.
Absolutely.
Back to the basics, as we like to call it.
And it goes back to all the stuff that we've been taught. When this doesn't work, you try this. And so what set you apart, you said you had to work harder, but you just had to work different. Because there's not, I would say that probably, I mean, this is just a guess, but I would say that probably 60 to 70% of the realtors this year were looking for their next closing. And because they never learned to do those things you're talking about, which set you apart. Old school stuff. That's exactly what Kim said. I mean, and that's the stuff that's made us kind of who we are. And sometimes we have to, I feel like it's almost humbling that we have to sometimes think about it and go back and do it again.
Yeah.
I remember teaching.
It's like a restart.
Yeah.
Right.
Just telling them some of our agents and what to do, and they would be like, what?
Exactly.
And we would both, me and her or you, would just feed off of, do this and do that. And it works.
It is.
We've all stayed afloat. And I think that's really not only what sets us apart, but just the multifacets of lead generation that we've implemented this year that you guys have showed us. I never thought that I would be an agent. Ooh, I get excited to do an open house, but you do 3 of them, and then I picked up that cash buyer this year, and I was like, okay, maybe this isn't such a bad way to conduct your business. So just by y'all encouraging the whole brokerage to think outside the box and be different this year, that's why we've stayed ahead, competing with everyone else in the industry.
And look, Zach keeps saying he's gonna take a little bit of a break because he wants to go back to school. And every time he does that, what happens?
I get busy every time. I'm like, can I just go back and further my education? And then like I say that, and then the next day it's like, hey, I have a townhouse. Can you come list that? Or hey, our family's growing and we need to hit the market in February. And I'm like, goodness gracious.
This is the business for him. Although I think to a lot of people, we all have our moments where. I mean, it's just a different business.
I had a moment this year in the fall where it was just slower and we weren't, I personally just was, thinking, okay, well, and we always have this being self-employed. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. Am I making the right choice? Do I want to do this? But then you always have that one little silver lining that you're like, okay, let's keep the ball rolling. Let's keep going. And I finally had that recently, but it's just, we all have our ups and downs.
But why do you have that? When that happens, what is it because of?
Y'all, because y'all.
No, it's not
Yes, it's that. But
we'll take it though.
But no. But this is what I love. Like you guys keep pushing me. Like it's not like y'all. You don't bring an agent on and ghost them. Y'all constantly check in with me. Like, hey, how's your week going? What have you been doing? And I love that personal little touch that you guys have on us because I'm like, okay, I have to make it happen. Like these people hold me accountable, and that's why I was able to reach all of my goals this year. And that's one of the reasons why next year I'm really looking forward to. Really exceeding my goals.
Absolutely.
So when you didn't, what I wanted to say is when you were not doing well, you weren't doing lead generating like
y'all know how my summer was. I was at the beach. I was not doing anything.
You can't
I would go take 2-week vacations after a closing, and then people know I come back and I get into this state where I'll drum up more business. But what I've learned the most this fall is getting back to the basics and staying consistent. If I wouldn't have stayed consistent, I probably just would have went back to school. That's still a goal and a plan, but I, if I wouldn't have stayed consistent in October and November, my January, February, March, and April would not have 6 deals ready to rock and roll.
Yeah. So I think that you are a prime example of when you're doing something consistently, you would come home from the beach and you would say, I've got to get at it because I need some things on the books. And you would do it every day and you drill it in there every single
12
day.
hours a day.
Yeah.
And then you're like,
well,
I'm not doing this. Yeah, I'm going to the beach again. But I know somebody else that used to be like that.
Me too.
Oh, yeah.
And I wasn't even in real estate when that happened.
It's me. Yes, I am probably one of the pure examples of the roller coaster agent.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not
but
anymore.
Starting off, like my first 6-7 years was. Now I know the consistency and I know what I need to do, and but it was wild. It was a wild ride.
So I like to use this analogy that if you decide you want to get in shape and you go to the gym, if you continue to go to the gym, you're going to see results.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, I'm not going to the gym. But if you go for a week to the gym and you don't lose 10 pounds and you quit, then you probably gain 10 more pounds.
Right.
But if you go to the gym consistently and you start seeing a difference in your body, then you want to continue to go to the gym.
Yeah.
We used to teach that all the time in our very beginner classes that we taught. What did we call that back then? Something Wednesdays. I don't know.
Wind down.
We did not have wine involved.
Oh, damn.
Oh, no.
So another thing that we kind of wanted to talk about is Christmas. And so we all have kind of Christmas success stories that most people are not busy in December. I've actually always been pretty consistent in December, but we each have a story that is kind of from December that makes us, it brings in the Christmas spirit, when we're working, we're not thinking about things, and then this happens. So Nikki, you start with that.
So, I started real estate in 2009. So, my very first closing happened on Christmas Eve. Shout out Title Plus for opening that day because they were supposed to close early, but it happened on Christmas Eve. And I went home and wrapped up you were the team leader?
Yeah.
and I went home and wrapped up my check that I was given and gave it to my husband for Christmas. Because I was a stay-at-home mom and didn't work, so that was a very exciting check.
Yeah. And your people got into their house for Christmas.
Yes, and that for sure.
So have you had a good Christmas one?
It was actually last year. And this was a great story. It was someone that I like grew up with. They weren't sure if they were ready to buy a house, but they both had great jobs. And I said, look, guys, before you go drop $2,000 a month on this apartment on the North Shore, let's just explore our options. And I was, of course, coming home from the beach. Here's how my life typically goes. And they called me and they were like, hey, we saw a house. We want to go look at it. I was like, great. Well, coincidentally, I'm only an hour away. So I'll be there in an hour. I'll show you the house. Well, we were going to the house. We looked at it. They just fell in love. First time home buyers. It was the luck of the draw. And we went under contract December 1st. And they just said, we're newlyweds. Like, we want to get in the house for Christmas. And she kept telling me on the side, like, I have to be in this house for Christmas. I have to be in this house for Christmas. And I didn't understand why, and she didn't tell me. But we closed December 22nd or December 23rd. They finally got in the house, and I saw it on Facebook. She announced her pregnancy. He opened up the gift on Facebook and showed, like, we're in our new house for Christmas with our additional one.
Awesome.
And I felt like I was like,
awesome.
that was so worth all the stress that I went through because, as you know, getting a deal closed in 3 weeks.
Well, so also, that's like a realtor Christmas present.
It really, I screw the check. I was more happy that happened, you know?
Honestly,
and we have
there's
deals
some,
like that sometimes where you're like,
there really are.
Okay, getting a
that make
paycheck is
you
what we need to live, but
remember
also,
why you do it.
Yeah, it tugs at your heartstrings for sure.
Yeah.
So I think mine was so many years ago that I don't remember who the lender was or the title company was, but it's been that long ago. Not 50, Jazz. But they needed to get into the house before Christmas because they were losing the rental that they were in. And they were a young family. And whoever the lender was, and I want to say that it may have been Brandy Broussard, back when she was with Guild or whoever it was before then. But they pulled strings and did everything they could to make it happen, and they closed the same thing. Like right before, they went to Walmart and bought a little Charlie Brown tree, and their kids got to have Christmas around their brand new house, and they weren't homeless, which is even more important than the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
So because they didn't have family here, I just remember that being so, like, I was thinking, they're coming to our house. Like, Jason, I'm just letting you know, they might come to our house, and because that's what we do sometimes. Like, we wouldn't want them to be homeless for Christmas, right?
No, absolutely not.
I don't remember too many special. The one thing I remember about Christmas is one of the families did not want to close before Christmas. And I was like, why? I mean, you can be out, let them in there. She was like, this is the last time we'll be in this house for
their
Christmas.
own house, yeah.
And I don't want to miss. This was my dad's house, and I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
We want to have one last Christmas. So
that's
sometimes
awesome
it's not even about getting them out before Christmas
Mm-hmm.
and getting it all happy.
It's about people making sure
Their
that
last memory in that house and the one they want.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I've had stuff where on Christmas, at Christmas parties, had to leave to go get stuff signed back in the day.
Yeah.
No, I guess that's why, like, my Christmas story or whatever, my very first deal or whatever, it was an investor, so he didn't care anything.
Yeah.
But it meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
To have my first closing on Christmas Eve.
And you brought a check home around Christmas. It only helped.
Things,
Yeah,
right? It's different reasons.
But it's my only Christmas
But
story.
It's one of those things that just kind of remind you, though, with what we do, that we really don't ever take a step back. When people need things, we do it.
Yeah.
So if we have these kind of times,
it's not about the check all the time.
Right.
It's about what the we put it personal.
It is, because if we did, honestly, if there weren't personal things, and all of them are personal, not to say that
everyone's going through something,
right?
That's why you're selling your house.
But to find out what they're.
But we work very, very hard. But when something really does touch your heart, it kind of makes all of the very continuous work worth it.
Yeah, definitely. And I just want to say, I mean, we talked about even today that you look back on your year and you're so proud of yourself, and we're so proud of you.
Mm-hmm. We are.
You are.
Yeah.
I mean, Zach, we are so proud of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cheers.
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 Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And a Happy New Year.